Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. The 2011 U.S. House freshman class has converged on Washington for orientation. Newsmax senior editor David Patton is there and interviewing the members-elect.
We're joined with Congressman-elect Jon Runyan from New Jersey's 3rd District. Good to have you with us. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
What's your top priority in Congress?
Well, I think the top priority right now is jobs. And there's a lot of things tied to that. Whether it's taxes, every little detail always, falls back into that, and it's really tough for people right now because we don't know what the cost of health care is going to be in a couple of years. You don't know what your tax rate's going to be literally in 2 months, and that's really holding down that job market. And it's something we're going to have to. That is the #1 key to get this economy rolling again, and it's a big part of the process. But as I grow into this position, it's about taking care of the people back home, your constituent relations, and making sure that they are taken care of. That is really the #1 priority as we try to turn this country around.
Some of the Tea Party folks, as you know, are suspicious of anybody associated with establishment Washington, even establishment GOP leaders. Are you confident that the current leaders of the Republican Party in Congress, obviously presumptive Speaker Boehner and also Mitch McConnell, Senate Minority Leader, are they going to represent the same interests as these aggressive, often young, incoming freshman congressmen that we have coming in for the 112th?
I think we have a very large group in this freshman class that are people that have no political connections whatsoever. They're newcomers to this, as I am, and bring a little bit different angle, a little more of what the people have and haven't been through the political process. And I think the promises I've personally made on the campaign trail to stay true to those values and and represent those values in Congress is a huge part of what I think this class is going to bring to Congress.
What do you think is going to be the biggest risk or endangerment, if you will, to staying true to conservative values? You call yourself common sense conservative. Some people would say there isn't a whole lot of common sense in the ways that Washington works, the money, the lobbyists, the campaigning.
Well, I was questioned like that throughout my whole campaign. Well, once you go down there, you're just going to become one of them. And I'm like, I lived that in the NFL. It was always a mindset of mine not to be like that. Don't become one of them that just becomes complacent and is just happy to be there. You're there to do a job and go out and execute it, but be true to yourself and what got you there.
Tell me a little bit of your take on Chris Christie. Obviously, the governor of New Jersey has won very high marks for taking on unions and trimming the state's really egregious financial situation and going to work on that. What do you think of his policies, and do you seek to emulate those in Congress?
Well, I think what he's doing is he's in a situation where I don't think the federal government is far behind of what the state of New Jersey is going through or the state of California is going through. And we ultimately have a spending problem. And he's putting his foot down and doing what he thinks he needs to do to reverse that. And doing that type of thing isn't popular with a lot of people because it does affect a lot of people. But when you step back and look at it, well, if you don't do that, who are you really affecting? You're affecting your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. Do you want to be the generation that leaves this fiscal mess for them? I think that's a big part of what he's doing. He realizes that we have to stop because it obviously is not sustainable and it's not going to work.
Would you like to see him run for president someday, maybe as soon as 2012?
Well, I'll be selfish as a New Jerseyan and say I want him to stay in New Jersey and fix the problems we have there.
And my last question, there is another NFL star in Congress, Heath Shuler, and he has certainly had his run-ins with the Obama administration as a moderate and conservative Democrat. He's frustrated that Democrats want to return Nancy Pelosi to power in the 112th Congress. Have you talked with Heath about that? Do you intend to reach across the aisle to him? And what's your reaction to the fact that the new face of the Democratic Party in the 112th is going to look a lot like the old face?
Well, it's going to be a different face, though. And ultimately, at the end, you're going to put your own stamp on it. As far as talking to Heath, I have not talked to him, but I think obviously our past connection in the NFL will draw us together, and being able that'll, you know, automatically put you in the direction of sitting down and having those conversations.
What do you think of Pelosi, Reid, and Obama still representing Democrats, as if nothing had changed on November 2nd?
Well, it'll all change come January 1st.
Because of?
Because of the fact that we've taken back the majority. So we'll see what direction that puts Congress in now.
Good luck in the new Congress.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.